The crimson light of arena day bathed Vexera's chambers as she prepared for combat. Her violet skin, laced with bioluminescent markings, pulsed with the natural rhythm of her dual hearts. She flexed her hands, feeling the genetically optimized muscles respond with perfect precision. Everything about her, from her enhanced reflexes to her superior strength, had been designed in Laboratory Sector 7 for a single purpose: to destroy humans in combat. 87 fights, 87 kills. Not once had she failed her creators. Specimen V-12, came the voice of High Commander Thulek through the intercom. Today's combat will be against a newly captured human. Intelligence suggests he was part of their elite infiltration units. Vexera didn't respond. She didn't need to. Her purpose required no acknowledgement, only performance. When the arena gates parted, she strode onto the battle floor with practiced confidence. The circular pit, surrounded by thousands of her kind, echoed with anticipatory clicks and hisses, the sounds of her race's approval. She had become their champion, their proof of superiority over the humans who dared to resist their expansion. The opposite gate opened, and 2 guards shoved a human male into the arena. Vexera assessed him coldly. He stood taller than most humans she'd faced, with dark skin marked by battle scars and eyes the color of Earth's oceans. Unlike the others, who entered trembling or rage-filled, this one moved with quiet purpose. The human called himself Damien. The name meant nothing to her. When the signal came, Vexera attacked with her usual precision. A sweeping kick to destabilize, followed by a strike to the solar plexus. Techniques perfected against human physiology. Damien blocked the first move but caught the second, the impact sending him sliding across the sand. She expected him to stay down, to struggle for breath like the others. He rose. Curious, she attacked again, this time driving him back with a combination that had shattered 3 human rib cages in previous matches. Blood appeared at the corner of his mouth, yet he remained standing. "You fight well," he said, his voice steady despite his injuries. "But you fight without purpose." The comment disturbed her more than it should have. Vexera launched forward with renewed intensity, her fists connecting with devastating force. Finally, a blow to his temple sent him crashing to the ground. Victory achieved, as always. But then, movement. Impossibly, Damien pushed himself up, first to his knees, then fully upright. Blood streamed from a cut above his eye, yet his gaze remained focused. "Why do you continue?" she demanded, genuine confusion breaking through her programming. "You cannot win." "Winning isn't why I fight," he replied, assuming a defensive stance once more. Something unfamiliar stirred within Vexera, a questioning. In all her combats, she had never encountered such resilience, such determination. It was inefficient, illogical, fascinating. When she struck again, she was conscious of moderating her strength, not enough to be detected by the observers, but enough to study him longer. She wanted to understand what drove this human to defy the inevitable. As the match continued and Damien rose for the 5th time, Vexera felt her certainty waver. For the first time in her existence, she wondered about the purpose behind her perfect design. And for the first time, when she could have delivered a killing blow, her hand hesitated. "Specimen V-12, your performance was suboptimal." High Commander Thulek's voice cut through the post-combat briefing chamber. The human should not have survived. Vexera stood motionless, her violet skin dimming slightly in acknowledgement. The specimen demonstrated unusual resilience. "I require additional combat data to ensure termination." A half-truth. She had intentionally calibrated her strikes to incapacitate rather than kill. "You will face him again tomorrow. This time, we expect results." Thulek's eyes narrowed. The elders are watching this one closely. That night, Vexera did something unprecedented. She visited the detention block. Through the energy barrier, she observed Damien meditating despite his injuries. His breathing was controlled, methodical. "You should be dead," she stated flatly. Damien opened his eyes slowly, disappointed. confused. Your continued resistance defies logical analysis. A slight smile crossed his features. Not everything about humans can be analyzed, Vexera. She startled at his use of her name, not her designation. How do you know what I am called? The guards talk, and I listen. He moved closer to the barrier, wincing slightly. Why are you here? To understand, she admitted. Why rise when defeat is certain? Because surrender isn't an option when you're fighting for something beyond yourself. His gaze intensified. What are you fighting for? The question lingered in her mind long after she left. Their second match proved more brutal than the first. Fulek had ordered combat stimulants added to her pre-fight regimen, making her faster, stronger, and less in control. Yet even as she landed blow after punishing blow, Damien adapted. He studied her movements, occasionally landing strikes of his own. When she finally knocked him down, blood pooling beneath him, she awaited the surrender signal. Instead, he pushed himself up once more, his eyes never leaving hers. Finish it, Fulek commanded through her neural implant. Vexera's hand trembled imperceptibly. Combat assessment incomplete. She responded, retreating to allow Damien to stand. That night, she returned to his cell with medical supplies stolen from the lab. Why help me? He asked as she treated a deep gash on his shoulder. I don't know, she admitted, the closest she'd ever come to questioning her programming. When her fingers brushed his skin, something electric passed between them. Something forbidden. After their third inconclusive match, rumors spread through the complex. Specimen V12 was malfunctioning. The undefeated champion was showing weakness. Vexera ignored the whispers, focused instead on the growing warmth she felt during her nightly visits to Damien's cell. Tell me about Earth, she requested one evening while applying healing salve to his bruised ribs. It's beautiful, he said, his voice softening. Oceans that stretch beyond sight. Forests that breathe with life. It's worth fighting for. My creators say humans are destroying it, and yet we're not the ones conquering other worlds. He countered gently. Their conversations expanded her understanding beyond combat protocols. He spoke of human concepts, family, freedom, love, ideas she had been engineered to consider weaknesses. May I? He asked one night, reaching slowly toward her face. When she didn't retreat, his fingers traced the luminescent patterns on her cheek. The touch sent cascades of sensation through her neural pathways. Your kind created you to be perfect, he whispered. But they didn't expect you to be capable of choice. Vexera leaned into his touch. I was not designed to choose. And yet here you are. Their lips met tentatively at first, then with growing hunger. Her dual hearts raced as his arms encircled her, pulling her against his warm body. Every logical circuit in her bioengineered brain warned against this connection, yet she wouldn't stop. Later, as they lay together on the narrow cell bunk, bodies intertwined, Vexera realized with startling clarity. She had found something worth fighting for too. They're watching you more closely, Damien warned, tracing patterns on her violet skin. The guards have been doubled. I know. She had detected the increased surveillance. Tomorrow's match. They've enhanced my combat stimulants. They want me to kill you. His eyes met hers, unflinching. Then we need to accelerate our plan. The laboratory data core contained everything. Vexera's genetic blueprint, conditioning protocols, and the truth she had never been meant to discover. Her DNA contained human elements. The enemy she had been created to destroy was part of her very essence. Your creators wanted to harness human adaptability while eliminating what they considered weaknesses. Compassion, empathy, love, Damien explained as they reviewed the files she'd stolen. They never understood that these are our strengths. The upcoming deathmatch left them no choice. They had to escape tonight. Disabling her neural implant was excruciating, but Damien's steady hands guided her through it. Freedom comes with pain, he murmured, pressing his forehead against hers as she fought through the agony. When the implant finally went dark, Vexera experienced true autonomy for the first time. Her mind, her body, her choices, all her own. Their escape route would take them through the arena maintenance tunnels. But first, they needed to neutralize the guard station. "Let me," she insisted. "They won't suspect me." At the security hub, Vexera approached with practiced deference. Specimen V-12 reporting combat readiness assessment. The moment the door opened, she struck with lethal precision, not as the weapon they'd created, but as a woman fighting for her future. Alarms blared as they raced through the tunnels. Ahead lay the maintenance bay with escape vessels. Behind them, the pounding of pursuit grew louder. At the final junction, they were cut off by Commander Thulek himself, flanked by 2 combat specimens from her same program. "Defective," Thulek spat. "You choose a human over your own kind." Vexera stood tall beside Damien. "I choose freedom." The ensuing battle pushed her beyond her design specifications. Fighting alongside Damien, their movements synchronized perfectly, his adaptability complementing her strength. When Thulek fell, the remaining specimens hesitated, witnessing something their programming couldn't process. Cooperation between species, strength born of connection rather than conquest. In that moment of confusion, Vexera and Damien broke through, racing toward the waiting transport vessel. The stolen transport shuddered as it breached the atmosphere, pursuit craft screaming in their wake. Vexera's hands moved across the controls with precision, while Damien jury-rigged the weapon systems. "Can you get us to the neutral zone?" he asked, wincing as the ship took a glancing hit. "If you can keep them off our tail." Her lips curved in a smile that would have been impossible weeks ago. Working together, they outmaneuvered the pursuit, Damien's tactical knowledge merging perfectly with Vexera's innate understanding of her people's flight patterns. When they finally crossed into the protected space of the galactic neutral territory, the pursuit craft peeled away, unable to follow without triggering interspecies sanctions. They had done it. They were free. Their first night of true freedom. They watched twin moons rise over the refugee settlement on Proxima b. Other species moved around them, some curious, others indifferent to the unusual pair. "What will your people think?" Vexera asked, her head resting against his shoulder. "A human. And a woman," Damien corrected gently. "Not a weapon, not a specimen. Just Vexera." She considered this. "I don't know who that is yet." "That's the beautiful part about freedom," he said, kissing her forehead. "You get to find out." 6 months later, they had established themselves in the settlement. Damien worked as a security consultant for merchant vessels, while Vexera found unexpected purpose as a combat instructor for refugee children, teaching defense rather than destruction. Word of their escape had spread, becoming something of a legend. Other specimens from her program had begun questioning their conditioning. Small rebellions were spreading through the arena system. "You started a revolution," Damien remarked one evening as they received news of another successful escape. Vexera shook her head, the bioluminescent patterns on her skin pulsing gently in the twilight. "We started it, when you wouldn't stay down." As dusk settled over their small dwelling, Vexera reflected on the journey that had brought her here. She had been created to be the perfect weapon, undefeated, unquestioning, unstoppable. In finding love with Damien, she had failed her programming in every possible way. And in failing, she had finally triumphed. "What are you thinking about?" Damien asked, his arms encircling her from behind. Vexera turned to face the man who had changed everything simply by refusing to surrender. To her, to fate, to the impossible odds against them. "That some battles are worth losing," she said, pulling him close as their futures stretched before them, unwritten and gloriously their own.